Hey everybody, what's going on? Alan here. Welcome to Gibson's Garage and Speed Shop. Thank you very much. You've been following along, you know, we're pretty much done with the LS swap part of things in this truck. We're just going to, well, we've got lots of other things to do, not just going to do this. In this video, we're working on changing up the steering a little bit. We're going to put power steering back in this thing. Again, if you've been following along, you'll know that I got rid of like the 86 pounds of gearbox and linkage down there and replaced it with a Mustang 2 manual rack and pinion. So I've been driving this thing around with manual steering. Let's take a look. Alright, there's the beautiful swap from an 03 Yukon. It's a 5.3 liter LM7. Here is the rack and pinion. I cut off the front of the frame to make it happen. And I'm using Pro something. What's it called? What does that say? I don't know. I'm using those though. I need to get some new steering knuckles because those were an experiment gone wrong. And everybody told me that that was very unsafe. I'm like, what? It's not falling apart. And I also just got done making a seat bracket for the driver's side. So, but I had to take that back out and the dash out to get to the structure that holds on the brake booster. Let's get on with the video. I'll show you. Oh, that feels so much better. Just being that inch lower. It's not too close. It's a relaxed position. Go lower. Go lower. The only thing is, the pedals are a little close now. But I don't know, it's not bad. That feels good. It's pretty much already back all the way. So I just need to find some plates, thick plates to put underneath and put bolts on these two. But this side's bolted in over here, so it's pretty solid. So it's actually kind of funny because even though this steering is the one thing that it sort of feels like it's in an all right spot, it's the one thing we're changing. We're going to be putting in this Toyota Prius electric steering column, and it does adjust and swivel, or what does it do? It telescopes and pivots, whatever. But I don't have all the stuff to make that happen. It requires like this, like a whole big structure that needs to slide as well. So when I mount it, I'm gonna have to find a spot, like play with it a little bit on the different lengths and see what fits best, and then mount it in solid. All right, with that taken care of, we can remove the steering column and we can remove the dash so we can get to that inner structure and start figuring out how we're gonna modify this thing. It's so cold. Now in my case, the column's going to come out real easy. I just need to remove these two set screws and remove those 4 bolts back there on the firewall and remove these 2 nuts here. I think those are nuts, right? Yep. And then this thing will fall right out. Oh, this is looking so good. I'm so stoked to have that in permanently. Now the dash should come out relatively easy too, because again, I've got no wires going to it. There's two larger bolts going up in each corner at the bottom, and then there's these 5 bolts. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Just little screws, really. And then I gotta kick this back. Careful not to bump my positive and negative terminals. I do have covers on them now. First time putting it in. that was a whoopsie. And this dash it's in bad shape. So if anybody out there wants to help me out with a new dash, that would be amazing. There we go. Uh-oh. There's something attached. Oh, fudge knuckles. Okay. Oh, Jesus. I can't do this. Oh yeah. Now we can see what we're dealing with. This is the structure, as you can tell, for the brake pedal and the booster. So we can't really mess with this, but right here is where the steering column mounted. So let's grab the other one and see how far off these bolt holes are. Okay, so issue. Big issue right off the bat. Where are we going to put this motor? That is not going to fit up there. Turn this. Just turn it that way, not that way. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. If I push this back to where these mounts are, at the same plane as these mounts, the steering wheel, I mean, it can come forward, it can telescope, but it's not going to be able to telescope that much. It'd be way out there, and the motor would be in the dash. I'd have to cut, let's see, like I'm not even to the bolts yet, and I'm running into the dash. So I'd have to cut a relief in here, and it also kind of puts it almost too far back, because it's not going to be able to telescope that much, if at all, actually, because of the way I have to mount the back. It's not gonna, I don't know. But if I set it up to where the motor is just in front of this, that's only gonna push it forward like maybe an inch from where these bolts are now, and it still keeps this, it's still kind of far forward, the steering wheel. Let's see. So even there, we've got like 2 fingers of space. And the steering wheel would be at my knees, with it all the way collapsed. And there will be this much movement here, which is just a couple inches at most. So I can go like that a little bit. But either way, it means I'm going to have to mess with this part of this structure. I don't know. Might have to make like this whole
bit.
Okay, so this just got real and it snowballed kind of quickly, but it fixes a couple things. You know, two birds with one stone, so let me tell you. So first of all, if I mount the column up here at this level, I had planned on like cutting this off straight across there and making a new lip that was just this high altogether. I want the bolting surface, the mounting surface up here, so the column stays in the same area right up at the top of this. The problem with that is the back of it will now run into a break right here where the booster connects to it. So, and I also thought it's too far forward now that I got this race seat in. I kind of want to move it back to match the gas pedal. So I'm going to pull this bolt out. I'm going to make a plate right here, and the new mounting spot will be about 2 inches back from where it is now. And then I'll just shorten this rod here to make up for it. And that's step one. It'll also be up a little higher, so that'll move it back and up out of the way, this section right here. Hopefully enough, because you know we're going down, shooting down towards that hole. So hopefully that pushes it out of the way to make that shot straight down there. Then after that, the next step would be making a new mounting point. 2 new areas here, but up here a little bit. And I've got to cut like this section out on each side and make a little cut that way, kind of just leaving these 2 pieces that are spot welded together just hanging out. Or I might cut it all the way off and make a new plate. I'm not sure yet. I do it this way. Ooh boy, that's gonna be hard to come back from. It's okay, it's okay, it's all for good reason. We'll get it figured out. I might have gotten a little carried away. But, I mean, I've got answers, at least. There's a pile of scraps down there. Here, let me show you. As far as the steering goes, this is where it has to pivot. So that pivot point is going to sit right about there, with the motor sitting right about there. And it's not really going to, well, it's all the way up right now, so that's as high as it'll go. It can only go down, right, once this bracket here is mounted solid. It'll only be able to swivel down a little bit and out a little bit, as you can tell in that, with those slots there. But before we can, which means I'm gonna have to add some metal here so we can put that bolt for the pivot point. It's a shame I can't just use that one, really, but the motor runs into this. I don't know. The wheel is already too far back. I don't want to push it back any further. I only have like 2 inches I can pull it forward towards me, so I don't think I want to go any further that way. I'll in fact probably want to give myself like some finger room here behind the motor, just to avoid anything accidentally touching. But before we can do that, we've got to remove the brakes like I was talking about. So I measured out about 2.5 inches, and that's going to be about this point right here. And then same on this side, it's about that point right there. And that's about the difference. It's about 2.5 inches forward from the brake pedal is what I'm trying to say. So that'll make it at least even with the gas pedal. And then, but first we have to like cut all this raised area out, right across like that. And then, I don't know, over to here at least or something. Cut all this out like that. And then put in a piece of flat plate that continues, you know, this piece of metal here to go further on down. I need this to continue. And then same on this side. So I have to figure that out. Yep, I ended up cutting all of it out. I just couldn't help myself. I figured it was easiest. I just make 2 triangles like this, come out about 3 inches further than what this is, and then I'll, you know, throw some bends in it so this one does that and that one does that, and that's going to be the simplest way to do it, faux show. Alright, I've got some cardboard here. Finally got some metal in, so we're going to try to make a template. I'm going to hold this up pretty much like that to the firewall. Press in with my thumb there where it jogs out. Draw a line along the cut. And the 2 pieces are going to be pretty much mirrored, except for the right side jogs out a little further than the left side. But as far as bolt pattern, and it's going to be mirrored. And I still need to snip off just this little piece here to make it straight like this edge. Alright, oh shit. Alright, so I've got this set up here or taped up. I want to try and get an idea where I'm going to be putting some marks. Okay, it's kind of working out. This can tilt. Oh yeah, see? Aim that. So if I remember right, it's about 1.5 inches past this is the center hole. There's my 1.5 inch mark. Let's hold up this steering heavy ass thing. Eyeball. That's not nearly, yeah, I need to go at least another inch. I can't stuck this pen in there, that would be nice. Oh, that looks good. I can tilt it down. Might want to come another 1/2 inch. So with the approximate steering located, we got to figure out where the brake pedal is going to go, and that's about 2.5, if I remember correctly, inches in from where it used to be, maybe just 2, but it's 4 5/8 from the firewall. So now I've got that mark, and I only really wanted about 1/2 inch from this line. So the new brake pedal is going to go about there. It will be centered. So we should have clearance up top, and that keeps the rod for the push rod for the brake booster in a good spot too. And you can see my pedals are a lot closer to the same plane now. Alright, so I think I've got the bracket figured out. Let me cut out what I have here, and then I'll explain further. Alright, version 2 is in the process. Miscalculated here, so it's got to be like almost 1 inch lower. But over here, we got to like go up and around and meet up with that other blue line there. Okay, so here it is. A little crude, but I think it's gonna work. I just need to snip this off. And transferred the hole there. Oh, I need to transfer this one too for the brake. Alright, there it is. Let's cut that out and see what that's going to look like. You know, it's actually going to be pretty different because I got to narrow it twice. It's going to narrow somewhere around here, and then it's going to narrow again right about here where it pinches on to the steering. So when I fold this in, that's going to make that shorter. So we're going to be working around that. We'll have to cut it and lengthen it or something. Okay, now I've got 2 brackets, cutouts. I guess I didn't need to make 2, but the cardboard was folded over, so I got 2 in case I mess up. Just making brackets for steering. It's gonna bolt on just like that. Okay, so this video is getting kind of long. Let me show you where I'm at, and then we'll cut it here, and we'll pick up next week. That's kind of what we're looking at there. Make 2 of those, and again they'll narrow in 2 spots. 1 spot here will narrow in for the brake, and then further out it'll narrow in to down to 2 inches for the steering. Since I don't have 3D scanning and printing, this is how I'm going to have to do it. I've marked all the places where they're going to bend and where I need to cut them basically to lengthen them, fill in the gaps here and there. Alright, so that's going to do it for this week. Please subscribe and hit the bell. And thank you, of course, for following along and making it this far. We'll see if we can get this thing running with a Prius column. What do you think? Has anybody else done this in this vehicle? I know I've seen one in an older one, but I don't know if I've seen one in an 88 to 98 OBS. You guys let me know. But until next time, peace.